Hi, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. You know what? So many people think, oh well, you just have to take a shot of insulin every day and you'll be fine. Well, years ago that might have been. But diabetes care has changed so much. And I've talked about a few of these things online before. My diabetes, when I got diagnosed, the whole care was situated around what I like to call scare tactics. And oh, you've got to take care of your diabetes or you'll lose your eyesight, or you will have you lose a leg, or excuse me. But they never really stop back then and say, well, taking good control of your diabetes. Had a cough going in my throat. But they don't, or they didn't at the time, really tell me, why am I doing this? Yeah, like, okay, you've got to take your medication. Yeah, fine. But the whole thing was pretty well was the negative. And nowadays, from what I hear of new patients or new type 1 diabetics, is that there's a lot more positivity. And I really applaud the whole care of most of the people who have type 1 diabetes. Why? Well, because people don't realize what we go through. I just saw I don't know how old this video was, but a snowboarder saying that if you sign up for this, he'll send you messages about what living with type 1 diabetes is like. I think so often kids are open to stuff, but when I started, there was urine testing, which was really fun. And at first you had to do your little drops into a test tube, put a pill in, and then do a ketone test. And I was negative, so it kind of like, oh, I didn't really want to do that, so I pretty well stopped. But things got better. There was dipstick, you didn't have to do all that. But I still, always take a look at the easiest way to get things done. I still think as things happen in a positive mode. I have been through a lot of diabetic education, and as we moved and progressed, I now have gone from the diabetic exchange program to choices to now counting carbs. And again, there are times I get up and, I've got to eat breakfast, and I'll go eat breakfast, and then I'll get up with my day or whatever, and then I'll really feel sick. Now, time to do a blood sugar. And when you find out you haven't given yourself enough insulin, it's like, oh God. Now, insulins have changed. Nowadays, insulin pumps are now the norm. And for years, it was, first of all, if you couldn't buy a pump, you didn't get a pump. And then it was progressed to where people who were under the age of 18, the province would buy them a pump. And it was only, I don't know, maybe 7 years ago that my province in Canada, BC, decided that pumps were an essential part of care. And I live with my pump now. Everyone needs to be aware of what a pump can do for you. Did you know now a pump can cut the amount of insulin so that you won't go super low? Imagine that. When the first two pumps I had were basically pushing insulin throughout the day. The first pump I got, you put a little cartridge of insulin in, you had to buy them separately, and you connected it. I don't remember counting carbs or choices. I just remember it kind of gave you your insulin. So it really was still like a shot. You still had to eat because you had all this insulin on board. Where we've gone to now is pumps are actually reporting information for your doctor. It's taken a big step to being self-sufficient. And when I was first diagnosed, you had to record everything. You got a little book and you had to write it down. You had to write down your urine tests, and then it got to blood tests. And where we are at blood tests now, I mentioned before that I had the Ames, I think it was Ames, glucometer. And at that point, it was a brick. To now where I have a small glucometer, it reads my blood sugar, I'm able to move on with it. So there are little steps we're taking. And now they're even talking about helping to stop, or determining who might be prone to become a type 1 diabetic. I always sort of wondered why my body attacked itself. Because that's basically what type 1 is. Your body's decided to attack, and it kills off the beta cells, which produce insulin. But you know what? It's really awkward to get people to understand. It's a lot better now. I can remember, I was going over to dinner with my dad, and I had to go from the place I worked downtown, and I ended up in this corner store where I was trying to buy something with sugar in it because I knew I was low, and the person just threw me out because I couldn't talk. I was just, I must have looked like a drug addict. But nowadays, there are a lot more, I'm a diabetic. I'm wearing an ID. There's dogs that can sniff if you're going low. All these, while we're not at a cure, things are a lot better now than when I was diagnosed 45 years ago. And diabetics who are diagnosed today, 5 years from now, will probably say, yeah, things do get better. Take care of yourself. Have a great day. And I'll stop rambling someday soon. Have a good day.